So from here, I want to show you how you additional can build for this new operating system. So for that, I shortly want to show you this trailer. And basically, like you can see here, the traditional way of working with one monitor, but now you can see with the new Pico headset and especially the new operating system, it allows you to use multiple windows, take the 2D things out of the window and have even 3D windows, which is really powerful for any type of working. I see a lot of opportunities for my day of working. You will see in some seconds I have like 100 windows open in my system, and that would be really practical. And I really love this vision behind the system we have here. So what is WebSpatial exactly? So WebSpatial is building on traditional web standards. So you can basically just develop with React and JavaScript, which you're already used to. But what is really interesting to mention is that not only you are used to build with these tools, but also Claude or agentic systems like Claude or Codex are really used to build. So that's really easy also for agents to get started building for that. Yeah, we have this spatial UI. You can add depth to the website either by having this additional access of having a distance to the objects or by having this 3D windows, which I just showed. And yeah, the cool thing is that it's really universal, so you can directly deploy to PICO OS. It's also available on other headsets as well. And you're really free to build for multiple systems at once. So I just want to show you an example I built for today using WebSpatial. First, before I show that, you can find all the information about WebSpatial in the Pico developer documentation, which is here under Web and then WebSpatial SDK. And if you do that, you will find additional documentation on the WebSpatial page, where you get information of what you can use, how you can use it, examples, samples, etc. And what is interesting as well is this GitHub repository of WebSpatial, which shows the base for the entire library or framework. But it also contains the agents.md file, which is really helpful to build for WebSpatial just by putting it into your agent. And I can just show you how easy it is. Here's all the windows I shared with you. So I just wanted to build a short prototype for these workshops for you. So I just told Claude, please build a WebSpatial application. I was giving the reference, the GitHub URL. I told him I want to build for PICO OS6 for the emulator, and it should be like a multi-window type of experience with a game where you have 8x8 fields, and in these fields will be random colors, and they explode when you click on them. There will be multiple windows, so one with a timer and one for a leaderboard. And yeah, I just told him what to do, and basically he one-shot it, except some small changes. And I just can start it here. It's a normal NPM package or Node.js server. And after starting it, first I'm able to open it. Yeah, open it locally on my computer. You can see we have a game here, and when we started, you see additional windows open. So now we have, for example, two windows open here. And if we click on something, we can collect points and finish the game. Exactly. So it is also working on your computer browser, but like we said, there's multiple windows. It will be nicer if we can put this into a spatial environment. And for that, I can just open it in this Pico emulator, which we just opened. But before I do that, you see this is running now locally on my computer on the port 5173. I need to forward this port from my PC to the emulator itself. For that, I make a reverse connection for the TCP port from 5173 on my computer to the emulator itself. So I just ran this command, it was working, and I can just go to emulator, open my web browser, and type in here localhost 5173. And as far as you see now, it's in the browser also just a common website. But because we built it as a web app for WebSpatial, you can see an additional button up here, which says open as an app. If I click this one, he will actually open this WebSpatial app as an app. I just close the browser window one time here. And if I take some distance, you can see that there's one time the leaderboard we saw before. And in another window, you see there is this game itself. If I click start the game, there's additional a third window opening, which I can push over here, which is the timer for the game itself. So we have 60 seconds now to play this game. And yeah, that is how it is working. That's how easy you can get started. It was really just one prompt referencing the repository, and you have your first WebSpatial application open here. Yeah. Now you can see that is a couple of 2D windows, and you probably wonder how we can bring 3D elements into here. For that, I already prepared a new prompt here where I was giving a 3D resource I just downloaded and told him to open it in a 3D window. It is actually a trophy. So if we win, he shows a 3D window with a trophy, and I can just run it. And hopefully it works on the first try, especially in this live demo. I will give him a bit of time, and meanwhile, I will show you how I created this 3D resource. So for that, I just used Tripo, which is a 3D model asset provider. And we will have a lot of credits available for this service as well to you for the upcoming hackathon next week. So you could use it as well. It was pretty easy here to create a 3D asset like this. So this is the trophy I hope our game will later show. I just go here to images. I tell him like what time or type of image I want to generate first, and then I let him just do his job. And that should be finished in a couple of seconds. Maybe a bit longer. Yes, now he is generating some ideas. And if I want to now bring it into 3D, I would just say generate 3D. Or if I want to maybe make it a bit more obvious how the 3D model should look like, I can give additional prompts like give me the poker on the white background with solid color, and he creates this one. And then I would just need to press on generate with 3D model, and we will get something like this, which we can then just export and provide to Claude like I just did here before. Now it is still running, and yes, we probably still need to wait a bit. So I overall underestimated Claude. Let's see what he's working on. Maybe meanwhile.
Real
Yeah.
quick, if I don't know if David can hear me, but might want to turn off his video. Hey,
Hi.
cool.
Okay. Yeah, meanwhile, I can maybe show you how WebSpatial is a bit working.
Can you
Yes.
just minimize the Zoom video? No, if you go back, the little window.
So
Thanks.
Meanwhile, I can show you a bit how it would look like in the project itself. So I just opened a different project here, which I will show you to you later as well. And basically, it's just a basic web application. Like you can see here from the structure, you can see source code here. You can find .tsx files, which are TypeScript files for React, for example. So if you're used to build with React, that is really practical. If you can't, just ask Claude how to do. That will definitely work as well. The advantage of WebSpatial here is that it can use the exact type of accesses and libraries which you already are used to in the web development. For example, in this different app, we use, for example, also voice input to see what the user is talking about. So you can see if you follow this function here that you're using here basic web methods like media devices to get the audio input from the user and send it, for example, to an API like 11 Labs to transfer it to text. Same for other examples. Here, for example, we also used audio panel. We will see that also later, where we play some music, which is also basic web components or React components. And the same also counts for example, if you want to run a video file, you can do that here as well. Yeah, we just check into Claude one more time and he say he finished. So let's check it out and hope it worked in this setup. I would just restart the server shortly. I think it's this one. It restarted itself, but I want to be double sure. And I would just call our Color Blast app again, open it as a web app, as a WebSpatial app. And yeah, just start a game. You can see the timer reduced now, like I told Claude, to 30 seconds. So that we don't need to wait too long to see our trophy. And yeah, I would just try my best to receive a good trophy. So there's 8 seconds left right now. And now we also see our first bug because there's not 3 colors anymore connected. And we finished the game. You can see it opened a new window, which is actually a 3D window. I need to be a bit closer to that, which shows our high score here, 535 points, and our 3D model. So that's how you can really build also with 3D inside of WebSpatial. And like you see, you don't need to do anything more than just put a prompt into Claude. So now for what else we want to show you, I just close all these windows again. And let's continue with what we want to show you today. Exactly. So that was one of the examples here done side the multi-panel game dash. But you can also think about use cases where you take traditional websites or web apps, which usually have only one window overloaded with a lot of information. Like here, for example, TikTok on the right side. And you just put each type of additional information, which would be too overwhelming in one application, into new windows. Like we did here with the comment section, you can now do comments while still not losing the oversight of the window itself, or you can watch the user's profile on the left side and can still enjoy the entire experience at the same time. So that is really powerful, and we really look forward to what else you're building with that. Additional, we want to show you a really cool use case we built ourselves and we provide it as a kit to you so you can build on top of that. And it has to do with our category at the hackathon, which is the Agentic Command Center. And we used OpenClaw to build our own Agentic Command Center inside of the WebSpatial on the emulator and soon on the headset itself. So I just want to show again that this real advantage of and the entire operating system itself is this spatial multitasking. You can open a lot of stuff at the same time, but it can still be something which you can improve by having an agent helping you with all these windows, opening exactly what you want, creating things in parallel for you, and you only need to orchestrate your agent. So that's why we built this new kit. It will use multitasking, the modular user interface, so you can have 2D windows, 3D windows. In the 2D windows, you can have video players. In the 3D windows, you can have 3D models, which you just generated and can put it together in some way. And yes, it's really easy to install. The idea behind it is that we use OpenClaw as a complete backend. So the entire backend is really flexible. You still use this human in the loop approach, which means you're still orchestrating and deciding which need to be done. But you also don't want to know all the little details. So that's why we say it's a black box approach. It is doing what you want, but you don't need to know every detail how he is solving things. And I think this one is a really nice illustration of that. And that's why we called it the modern stack. So you already have with WebSpatial a really flexible front end, because it can open 3D files, it can open 2D files, and you could build these type of windows really easily during runtime using React components. So you're really flexible on the front end, and you're really flexible on the back end, because OpenClaw can basically do anything you want, which is like a really personalized back end experience. And we think they are really good working together. So you can even imagine that during runtime, OpenClaw is building the user interface itself for you, specialized for you, and maybe in your style, feeling, or for the data you want to have. And yeah, here on the left, you already see an illustration of that, how it would look like. And you also have a QR code of where you can find and download our kit. So yeah, basically you have the agents on the left side. You can speak to them in this extra window. And as soon that is done, he will open different type of apps for you based on that automatically. But I don't want to show too much of a video, because we will show you exactly now how you can build this type of experience. Like I mentioned, we have this extra GitHub repository, WebSpatial OpenClaw Command Center. And you can find all type of information here, how you can set up OpenClaw in a Docker container, etc. And I already did that for you, so I will just jump into it. So you can see here in Docker, which just is basically a server which is running locally OpenClaw for me. You can see that I have a running container for OpenClaw. If I now just click on it, I would come to the OpenClaw interface. I can chat here like I already did with my agent. I can get an overview about the different agents I have. My main agent is just my main agent. I called it Jarvis. The other one I just called for fun Ultron, for example. And you can also see what your agents are learning over the time, or what you teach them. For example, here about the user, you see information about me, myself. So he knows my name, for example, so he knows how he should address me. But you can also see here, for example, in this OpenClaw user interface, his memory. Like I made it really easy. I told him, if I ask you, for example, about food, please send me this 3D model as a GLB file. If I ask you about music, please send me a link back to the MP3. And the cool thing is that later we just can extract in our WebSpatial SDK, WebSpatial app, these URLs and can see what file types we have. And based on that, we can open them with another window. But I will show that to you now. So I would just start our application. I will first close these ones. And it is this one. I just run it. It's also just a Node.js application. And you're seeing it's now running on the port 5173. And if I would open it now on WebSpatial, it was before running Color Blast, and now it's running the OpenClaw app. You first have this 2D interface again, but you can open it as an app here. And I close the browser. And you can now see that the same agents which was shown to me in my OpenClaw interface before are now part of my WebSpatial application. I can click on them and I get a chat window, which is looking like this. And you can see the agent was active. Now I change it to my main agent. And now my main agent is active. And you see that I show here the history from talking to my agent. But I would prefer over a long time to just have some type of orb here, which I can just talk to. But for debugging, it's really nice to have this history. And probably if you want to build on top of these kits, it will be also really practical for you as well to see the history. So basically what I need to do here is just click the button and talk to my agent. I am hungry. So I teach, or I basically teach OpenClaw that if I'm hungry, he should send me back a URL of a GLB file. And you can also see that again here in my chat with him. So you see the last message I sent to him is I am hungry, and he sends back a GLB file. But if my WebSpatial app finds a GLB file URL, he basically converts it to a button here. And if I click on this button, he will, for a GLB file, for example, open it in a 3D window. So you now see that we have an extra 3D window, which is showing an avocado if I'm hungry, and it can coexist with the other windows as well. If I now want to maybe watch a movie next to it, I would just ask OpenClaw to find a movie, generate maybe with AI one movie for me. Right now, it's just hard-coded into OpenClaw. I want to watch a movie. And he will just show a movie to me. So I just click on this URL or button, and he opens a new window in WebSpatial for me, where basically he is rendering this movie to an extra window with a movie player. Another option would be, for example, I want to play some music, or another way would be to ask where I can learn about XR, for example. Where can I learn about XR development? And if I ask that, he will try to help me and send me this URL back. And in this case, it's a URL to a web page, which is not opening. Okay, then we have a bug, but I guess you already got the principle behind it. So it's really practical to just tell your agent what you want to have, and he can open any type of file in a different type of window, which is specialized for your content. And yeah, that's how our OpenClaw kit works. And I'm really excited to see projects built on top of that, but also completely new projects in this direction of a Agentic Command Center. Yeah, and looking forward to all your input, ideas, use cases, any questions you have right now or in the upcoming time. Yeah, just looking forward to that.